All right. Thanks for joining us today for Berkeley SkyDeck first info session for the Batch 20 program. We just opened applications a few days ago, and we're thrilled that you're able to join us for this info session. I'll try to cover as much information as I can in a very short period of time, and then we will share that we'll have some time for questions and answers. In the meantime, for those of you that are joining us right now, feel free to also post your questions in the Zoom chat if you don't want to wait until the Q&A period at the tail end. Again, I'm Sybil. I'm the general manager at Berkeley SkyDeck, and today I'm joined by my colleague, Sanjay. Sanjay, do you want to briefly introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. My name is Sanjay. I'm an investor with the SkyDeck Fund. Um, I'm really excited to meet you all and learn more about what you're building and give you a little more insight into SkyDeck.
All right. Thanks, Sanjay. So we are now, I think, in our 14th year here at SkyDeck. We're UC Berkeley's accelerator. A lot of people confuse SkyDeck as a place that is only available to Berkeley students, staff, faculty, and alumni. That is not true. We welcome startup founders from all over the world. Um, Batch 20 applications just opened. They're open through February 14th. And let me tell you a little bit more about the program. The Batch 20 program, as with all of our accelerator programs, is roughly 5.5 months. And it's targeted at early stage startups that would really like to find a home and help them really gain some serious momentum in Silicon Valley. In terms of eligibility, we are open to startups from all over the world. It is true that maybe 40% of the startups that join our accelerator program are affiliated with the University of California, but a good 60% are from all over the world. So if you're looking to come to Silicon Valley and really kind of fundraise successfully in your, pre-seed or seed stage, this is the right time for you to consider a SkyDeck. We typically see most of our startups, after going through the program, raise a seed round of 2 to 5 million. And as I said, there is no University of California affiliation required to participate or be selected into the program. Startups that are chosen for our program receive $200,000 in investment from the SkyDeck Fund and go through the 5.5 month program. We offer 60 to 70 workshops during that time, over 150 unique office hours. We have one of the largest networks that's through the UC Berkeley ecosystem, and some of our advisors are not affiliated with Berkeley. Um, and as I mentioned, the program includes office hours, workshops. We take a very customized approach to programming. So often, as head of program as well, I often meet with a lot of the founders at the beginning to figure out what the knowledge gaps are, and we'll add content. We do also offer a lot of foundational programming at the very beginning. And then we also have something that we call the Midas and Unicorn Fireside series. There's usually anywhere from 3 to 6 of these fireside chats. We also open some of these to the public. This past year, we had people like Vinod Khosla join us. So just really, we try to bring a lot of top tier, top 50 VCs and top unicorns to share their journey with founders that come through our program. We are really proud of the network we've built over the years. As I mentioned, we have over 800 advisors in the SkyDeck network. You can see who they are. I should say advisors and mentors. Only the advisors are included on the website. And we also host countless networking events. I think across our 4 programs, any given batch, we have somewhere between 15 and 20 networking events. For those startups going through the accelerator program, there's usually 7 or 8 dedicated meet and greets. A meet and greet is a speed networking session where it's usually 2.5 hours, and you meet advisors or mentors in 20-minute sessions back to back. Within that first 4 to 6 weeks at SkyDeck, you should expect to meet somewhere between 45 to 60 advisors in one-on-one meetings. And we match you with 3 dedicated key advisors that end up working as your champions throughout the entire duration of the program. So not only do you have staff working to help you and working to make introductions, you also have 3 dedicated key advisors who, come to the table with different, expertise, and they're making warm introductions, meeting with you usually twice a month for 45 minutes to an hour. We also do something called advisor pitch practice. So, leading up to demo day, which is the culmination of the 5.5 month program, you will get a lot of help with, sharpening your pitch so that we're proud to host the largest demo day in the Bay Area, where we have 800 VCs and angel investors tune in. And we also host something called Investor Month, which SkyDeck Fund staff put on for you. The average startup that goes through the program will take somewhere between 30 and 60 one-on-one VC meetings in the run up to demo day. So again, the first third of the program is kind of intensive on the programming. The second third is really focused on building traction, meeting with staff members who are guiding you, meeting with your key advisors. And then the last third of the program is really focused on fundraising, so we can ensure that you successfully close some funding. Why Berkeley SkyDeck? There are so many different accelerators out there, and we get this question a lot, but I really think there are a couple things to kind of focus in on. One, if you ask any founder that's been through some of the other top accelerators and maybe have also been through SkyDeck, you'll always hear that SkyDeck is probably one of the few accelerators that is really focused on giving you a personalized experience and building a real relationship with you. And we get into the weeds with you, and we know how you're tracking, who you're talking to, who you want to meet, and we'll go the extra mile to help make those warm intros. We're able to do that because we're part of UC Berkeley. UC Berkeley has one of the largest alumni networks in the world, 510,000 living alumni across all industries. I've been at SkyDeck for 6 years. I originally joined as an advisor because I went to Berkeley many moons ago. I can speak firsthand to, just what it feels like to be an alum on the other side of the table and have a startup founder reach out to me who's, with SkyDeck, and I was very excited to help. And I, work with all these advisors that similarly, they do it pro bono. They're purely volunteer and they're super helpful. What's in it for them is that they get to keep their finger on the pulse of innovation and give back and help the next generation of startup founders. We're also a leading global research university. UC Berkeley is number one in the number one ranked university in the world for producing the most number of venture-backed startups. Um, and we have this crazy, phenomenal talent bridge. We have to date had, I think, over 2,000 students that have been matched for internships with our startups over the past 6 years since we first started the intern fair. And that's pretty awesome. If you come to SkyDeck as a startup, for sure you will be able to hire Berkeley talent, whether it's undergrad, postdocs, or MBAs. All right, quickly by the numbers. The acceptance rate at SkyDeck is about 1%. So yes, it is super competitive. We'll usually track between 2,300 and 2,500 applications received each batch. We will typically invest in 20 to 25 startups per accelerator per batch. We have 800 plus advisors and mentors. It's actually really hard to get to become an advisor at SkyDeck. We probably receive like 150 to 200 applications from seasoned tech executives that want to join our network. And we'll usually only accept about 20 of them to be our advisors. So it's super selective just to get to be an advisor. It turns out that 85% of the advisors and mentors are Berkeley alums, and 40% also happen to be angel investors. In terms of the total resources that we offer, each startup can access up to $750,000 worth of credits, discounts, and different types of benefits. That's by way of different cloud credits or, free help with accounting or, PR, or legal advice. We've thought of every type of perk and benefit under the sun that startup founders can benefit from, and we've tried to curate a very special list for you. Funding raised about $2 billion in aggregate has been raised by this is actually a typo, it's now 1,800 SkyDeck startups that have been through SkyDeck since we opened doors. Roughly speaking, as I mentioned earlier, the program is kind of broken out into three different segments. The first segment is really focused on providing you with world-class programming, tons of networking. And then the second part is really focused on building traction, continuing to build network, helping connect you to the right customers. And the last third is really focused on fundraising. The typical applicant is usually six, maybe started their business as recent as a few months ago to maybe they're 3 years old or maybe even a little older. Ideally, you have some unpaid pilots or LOIs. We'll usually see startups with anywhere from $3,000 to $100,000 in monthly recurring revenue. We love to see innovative IP and interesting technology. If you have raised, maybe you've raised some, a few hundred thousand or, up to 1 million. And then in terms of the investment, actually, I'll hand it over to Sanjay at the SkyDeck Fund to take over from here, and he can tell you more about the terms.
Well, do you want me to share my screen symbol or do you got it?
Sure, I can share
Okay.
screen. Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah. So when a company's accepted into SkyDeck, we invest 200K at 7.5% for every company that goes through the program. We also do follow-on investments into the companies in their seed round. Then we have an opportunity fund that does Series A, Series B, Series C round. But every investment, every company that gets accepted gets these terms, 200K for 7.5%. So the companies are usually structured as a Delaware C Corp. So if you're international, that's okay. But we typically have the companies do a flip to a U.S. entity. It's structured as a 200K safe investment. And there's a lot of questions around the cap, but many of the startups that go through SkyDeck, they've raised at higher caps before. We're able to work around it to make it founder friendly, investor friendly, but also remember that the value of SkyDeck is not just the capital. We're offering the resources of of the SkyDeck accelerator and also Berkeley as a whole. So you're not just getting the money, you're also getting everything that Berkeley has to offer. The next slide. So many of you are probably wondering, like, I'm not from here, I'm not from the Bay Area. Like, why should I fundraise here? Um, there's a reason why like so many of these like massive venture backable companies have grown in Silicon Valley. One, it's the largest network of VCs and angel investors in the world are in this area, in the Bay Area. So we have access to all of those investors. Investors in the Silicon Valley ecosystem tend to have a higher risk tolerance and more favorable deal terms than venture capital investors in other areas. And I think one of the more like we don't appreciate it enough is the third fact. It's like you are in this like massive, innovative, and supportive ecosystem here in the Bay Area and you get exposure to a lot of different people who are also building, or people potentially could be partners with yours or potential customers of yours. So it's just a really, really open and awesome ecosystem here. Yeah, so I'll go through a couple of success stories, but this quote kind of highlights it. Crisp, awesome company out of Armenia, help us hire top talent, identify go-to-market strategies, and help them raise our seed round. So in a nutshell, that is what the SkyDeck Fund is helping you do. But we'll go through a couple of quick examples from different regions. So many of you all might know Lime Scooters. They're a Pad 13 company. They've went on to do really, really well. DeepScribe is also a SkyDeck company, went to raise on 30 million in 2022. But not as Sybil mentioned, we're not just open to Berkeley founded companies or US based companies. We take companies from all over the world. Some of our most successful companies are international companies. So as you said, Crisp is a company from Armenia. They went on to raise 13 million from Sierra Ventures and other investors, and we also help them identify some enterprise clients and hire a COO. Um, MindsDB is actually one that we're really, really close to that has done really, really well. They just raised a really big Series B round from of 30 million from Mayfield with participation from NVIDIA. And we really helped them identify like what is the right market to go after with their solution. Skyloom is, I would say, like the quintessential like SkyDeck story for an international founder. You know, deep tech company based in Argentina. Argentinian investors weren't able to get their heads around like this deep tech what they were building. US investors didn't know how to evaluate a company coming out of Argentina. So SkyDeck basically became that bridge, helped them used all of the Berkeley resources to help them de-risk as much as possible, and then connected them to investors, and they've done fantastically. Corshell, another one out of Latin America. They went on to raise 12 million in their Series A. Yeah, a lot of great success stories from Latin America. And then finally, Asia. ThinkSight healthcare company went on to raise 30 million. Prophecy out of India went on to raise 25 million. So I think beyond just the regional diversity, I think the other thing to highlight is the industry and sector diversity that we've had here at SkyDeck. We've seen healthcare companies, space, data infrastructure or data engineering platforms. Lime is more of a consumer company. DeepScribe is more back office healthcare admin. So a lot of variety in the types of companies coming to SkyDeck. Uh, I'll do this one. Yeah. So in terms of the timeline, the application is open right now until February, and then interviews go from March throughout March. The program begins in May and goes until April, and demo day will be in I believe demo day is in October, I think, correct?
It will be in September.
Oh, end of September. Okay, cool. End of September.
Like,
Cool.
yeah.
Got it,
Mhm.
got it. End of September.
Yeah.
And those are me and Sybil's contacts if you have any questions.
Yeah. I'll just make one quick correction that we just decided internally to move the interviews back. So they will actually run through April 7th. So I think all startups will be notified of whether they've been rejected or selected no later than around April 15th. Um, And we have a quick slide on how to create a standout application because this is one of the most frequently asked questions. For transparency, there are four main things that we're evaluating on, and that's the team strength, how much product founder, alignment is there? What do you bring to the table that's unique and different from the many different founders that are building or trying to do the same thing that you're doing? How unique is your product offering? Do you have something that's defensible? Over time. How large is the market opportunity for what you're building? Is this going to be seen as venture scalable by investors in Silicon Valley, and attractive? And is there breakout potential and for your startup to become a unicorn? And finally, traction and market readiness. Have you demonstrated in a short period that you've been building your startup that you've been able to hustle and achieve some serious traction and make progress, whether it's through just like customer engagement or actual paid pilots or LOIs? Um, if possible, what we would recommend is be very clear and articulate as much as possible what you do, what problem you're solving, who you're solving it for, how you're doing it better than the current competition, and what unique insights you personally as a founder or your founding team bring to the table. And again, be complete and but also concise. A couple quick FAQs. As I mentioned, just to reinforce again, our program is open to any founder from all over, anywhere from the world around the world. For those of you that are not based in the US, we do offer support, visa support letters to help with the transition. We know that for certain, founders, it can be difficult getting a visa, but we're here to help. And we're certainly have a Rolodex of law firms that are seasoned in helping and supporting international founders. In terms of stage, again, like we're hopeful that by now you have, so you've probably like have an MVP or you're close to launching. So you're probably somewhere between 6 and 36 months old. But again, don't be afraid to apply if you think, you might be a little bit early, but you're very, you could still benefit from SkyDeck's help. We are industry agnostic and we just, we've had startups from every single sector and industry. So if you're not really sure, I think the only things that we don't do are like, sex tech or cannabis tech or things that are maybe have like ethical or gambling tech, that kind of stuff. So anything that has like moral conflicts. The program is mandatory in person for the first 6 weeks and the last 6 weeks. And because we are part of UC Berkeley, we actually are mandated to charge a $5,000 program fee, which you can use part of the $200,000 investment from the SkyDeck Fund to pay. But as a public university, I'm actually a UC Berkeley employee. So, the services we provide are part of a public university. When you come to SkyDeck, you can actually get a Berkeley email address and become part of Berkeley. So that is actually why you have to pay a fee to the public university. All right, that's kind of a quick high level overview. And now we'll stop recording so you guys can feel free to ask us any and all questions.
Just a